Hello everyone, I'm Spiritualist, Psychic Astrologer, and Medium Sette. Once again, thank you for sharing this time with me and offering me the opportunity to share with you my interpretations, insights, assessments of the astrological and spiritual possibilities for the month of January 2018. We are beginning yet another auspicious year, and I do emphasize auspicious. These last few years have been have given us so many wonderful opportunities to know the light within ourselves, and 2018 will be no different. 2018 is going to be very much a time for us to work together. In this last year, we really have been offered the opportunity to recognize our path and our purpose and our unique potentials that fit into the bigger picture of the all of humanity. And these coming times will be very much additional opportunities to know just that. And I start by emphasizing what actually took place in December. Saturn moved into its home sign of Capricorn. Saturn remains in a sign for about 2.5, 3 years. It will remain in Capricorn until it moves full force into the next sign of Aquarius, which will be in December of 2020. But right now we're emphasizing Saturn in its home sign of Capricorn. Saturn connects with discipline, determination, endurance. Sometimes we feel as though Saturn may place restrictions and limitations, but those elements are not intended for us to be challenged. There's really an opportunity for us to become very disciplined and determined in what it is that we are choosing to create regarding our long-term goals and objectives. Saturn in its sign of Capricorn, Capricorn connects with long-term goals and objectives. Our career, more importantly, I emphasize to recognize that it connects with our path, our purpose, and our destiny. And as Saturn moves through its home sign of Capricorn, the solidification, the further solidification of our understanding, our path and purpose and destiny will very much crystallize as we continue moving through these wonderful auspicious times. We actually begin 2018 on January 1st with a full moon. In January, we have two full moons. The second one will be a blue moon, which is a lunar eclipse on January 31st. So this full moon on January 1st will usher in our next eclipse season. Now, the full moon on January 1st is at 9:24 p.m. And I would like to emphasize that the day begins, astrologically, the day begins at the moment of sunrise locally. So I just want to add that New Year's Day sunrise is in Washington at 7:31 a.m. However, the first sunrise in the United States is at 7:11 a.m. in Lubec, Maine. That really begins January 1st and the new year. And what I would like to emphasize, in addition with the event of a full moon on January 1st, the alignment of the sun, the moon, and Pluto at that time is very prominent and significant. And whenever we factor in Pluto into any configuration, Pluto is the element of power. Pluto is our ability to manifest and to manifest great things. When Pluto is very prominent in a chart, we are given the opportunity to really recognize our ability to manifest. What I also emphasize is that because Pluto is the planet of extreme violence and destruction, many times when Pluto is prominent in the chart of a lunation, we observe much violence and destruction in the outer world. And I will emphasize, and it's not to ever take away the devastation of these experiences. However, I inspire us to observe these experiences from a place of detachment and never allow any of these experiences in the outer world to derail us in any sort of way. And you see, once we redirect the energy towards the light that is inside of us and knowing our power, that's when we tap into the greatest potentials of these alignments, and we further disarm any potential violence that may take place in the outer world. As we move through these times, certainly we're not going to be yet absolved of observing violence, destruction, and any sort of unpleasantries in the outer world. However, let us observe all that takes place in the outer world from a place of detachment. Know we're in the world, but not of it, and see these opportunities to further allow yourselves to be in a place of love. And then we shall continually offset any further negativity which might take place in the outer world. The full moon on January 1st, as I said, Pluto is very prominent. Allow yourself to be very comfortable with recognizing your ability to manifest and to manifest great things. And certainly when we emphasize our knowing of our ability and the potential to manifest, we do not connect that with ego and greed, because then we just we don't allow ourselves to really recognize this potential from a place of love. You see, the ability to manifest connects with creativity as well as divinity. The sign that is most associated with creativity and divinity, as I've emphasized before, is the sign of Leo. And astrologically, we understand that Pluto, when Pluto connects with Leo, it's what's called to be in its exaltation. It's when it has the ability to most profoundly display the highest quality potentials that it possesses. And what I want to emphasize, what I'm emphasizing with that is in the full moon chart, Pluto is placed in the sector of the full moon chart that connects with creativity, divinity, and Leo, and is why I'm emphasizing our further knowing from a place of love of our ability to creatively manifest all that it is that we desire. Divinity connects with creativity. Creativity connects with divinity. Further allow yourself on this full moon to really recognize these elements within yourselves. The full moon is in the sign of Cancer. Cancer certainly connects with our home environment. Allow yourselves to recognize if there are any imbalances energetically in your home, to resolve that, to correct it, especially before the next new moon, which is on January 16th. On January 2nd, the planet Uranus, the planet that is most associated with awakenings and awareness, moves direct. It's been retrograde since the spring, so that as this planet continues moving direct in its orbit, we can further recognize that we are given the opportunities to continually awaken and experience those aha moments, especially when the alignment of Uranus is very specific and exact in your charts on a personal level. Remember, whenever we emphasize, whenever we look at all these, all these elements in this type of a forum, we have to recognize that we give general understandings of what takes place, and to really understand how it fits with you personally, you have to look at your chart and see the alignments and the exact aspects that it makes to your chart personally. I'm just giving you a point of reference to really work with, and to recognize what is happening in the outer world and how to use this information for yourself on a very personal level to further inspire you along your spiritual path. January 9th, again, we're emphasizing the element of Pluto, and it's going to be very prominent as we go through these next few months, because Pluto is in the sign of Capricorn, the Sun is in the sign of Capricorn until January 20th. Also, Saturn now is in the sign of Capricorn, so I'm further emphasizing the ability and our awareness to manifest and the creative potential that is very much encoded in all of us. On January 9th, the Sun directly connects with Pluto, and in that alignment we also have Venus. Those three elements are almost exactly connected with one another. Whenever two planets come together, it's kind of like a new moon, and it begins a new cycle of experience. So again, I'm further emphasizing, recognizing, and allowing ourselves to be very comfortable with our ability to connect with divinity and creativity and to manifest all that it is that we desire. And when we do so from a place of love, we share all of this with everyone. This isn't just for ourselves personally. Just as that source which created all things freely shares all that it has created with all of humanity, we very much have the potential to do just the same with all that it is that we create. And when we allow ourselves to recognize these blessings from a place of love and certainly from gratitude, we certainly multiply, we multiply what it is that we are manifesting. All of this also connects with the element of abundance. Remember, there is abundance everywhere on heaven and on earth, and we certainly have the ability and the blessings to experience and enjoy abundance in all things. Let's also recognize how many times inadvertently we create abundance in the element of lack. So as we go through these times, it's a time to really certainly be even more aware of all the thoughts and the intentions we set in motion. Certainly, it's very beneficial for us to recognize in every moment all that we energetically set in motion through our thoughts and intentions. However, when these energies are coming very much together and causing us and offering us the opportunity to recognize the ability to manifest and create, we have to allow ourselves to be that much more abundantly aware of all thoughts that we set in motion in any given day. Whenever Pluto is prominent in the chart, as I said, we may observe some unpleasantries in the outer world. And again, not to downplay or water down the significance and the devastation and the hurtfulness and the sadness of any of these experiences. However, these experiences are intended by dark forces to derail us from knowing the power and the light that is within ourselves. So whenever we observe anything taking place in the outer world that is a less than loving experience, allow yourselves the opportunity to recognize your creativity and divinity and send love to the experience. When we continually give energy to the experience from a less than loving place of intention, then we just further emphasize it, the devastation and the loss and the destruction. See all of this, as difficult as it is. See any unpleasantry, any destruction that may take place in the outer world from a place of love, regardless of what that might be. And remember, whenever we observe anything outside of ourselves, that element is also potentially very much inside ourselves. We're seeing so much hate in the other world, and Pluto certainly connects with the elements of hate, extreme hate, deep hate. That is an opportunity for us to be just the opposite. And when we allow ourselves to direct too much attention towards the hate, then we are connecting with a potential that is within ourselves that is not necessarily from a place of love. As much as you can, remember all of this. See all things from a place of love. On January 14th, the Sun forms a square alignment with Uranus, Uranus is the planet of chaos. So just to once again allow ourselves to be very much aware of the potential of some chaos in the outer world. Around the time of January 13th, 14th, 15th, let yourself be very aware of what is happening outside of yourself and see this as another point of an awakening. Remember, those outer experiences are there to derail us. And when we really allow ourselves to focus on the blessings being received to us with this specific alignment, we can have one of those moments, a moment of awakening, a breakthrough, an aha moment as we refer to it. Uranus, as I said, it's the planet of awakenings. It's the planet of the new age, which connects with Aquarius. It's a planet of fraternity, brotherhood, humanitarianism. Allow yourselves to just focus on those very loving elements as opposed to the chaos and the destruction that takes place in the outer world. As I've emphasized for quite some time right now, chaos will always precede great and prominent and powerful change that is leading us all towards enlightenment. Let us focus on these very positive elements, and this is what we will bring to form collectively in the outer world and offset any further negativity which might take place in our world. On January 16th at 9:18 p.m., we have our next new moon. It's in the sign of Capricorn. Again, I'm emphasizing the Capricorn significance. This is another opportunity to further us along our path, our purpose, and our destiny. In the 3-4 days leading up to the new moon, we have the balsamic moon. As I've highlighted in the past, that's a time of cleansing, clearing, purging, so that when we begin the next lunar cycle, we begin with a clear slate. Since the new moon is in the sign of Capricorn, as I said, it connects with our path, our purpose, our destiny. Allow ourselves to recognize what might be interfering with us furthering ourselves along our path. And on the new moon, allow yourself to incorporate and have the courage to incorporate whatever might be necessary for you to further you along your path, your purpose, and your destiny, as well as your long-term goals. And perhaps if you have not been clear of what that might be, see that balsamic moon phase as an opportunity to cleanse away what might be interfering with that clarity so that you can recognize your path, your purpose, and your destiny. And on this new moon, you set that energy in motion. Many times we need to allow ourselves the courage to really recognize our path. And it does not necessarily mean that it will always be something of ease. However, when we allow ourselves, or rather when we ask Spirit and when we request Spirit to show us our path and our purpose and our destiny, let's also ask that we be shown those elements with grace and ease. So allow yourself, as I said, to have the courage to do whatever is necessary to further yourselves along on this path and on your path specifically and personally. On January 19th at 10:09 p.m., the sun moves into the sign of Aquarius, the sign of the New Age, awakening, brotherhood, humanitarianism. It's also the sign that connects with astrology. What I'd like to emphasize with that is that when the sun is in the sign of Aquarius, we are given opportunities, once again, to really recognize our place as it connects with the bigger picture in the all of humanity. And sometimes, that can be a little heavy. However, and it's why I'm emphasizing to have the courage to really recognize your unique purpose and your potential. Because then once you allow yourself to really recognize that courage, there are no obstacles and there are no challenges that will derail you, and you recognize that any challenge that you may receive or even miscreate will only further and strengthen you along your path. The final full moon of January, as I was emphasizing, on January 31st, we have 2 full moons in January. The second on January 31st at 8:27 a.m. Eastern Time. It's a full moon, it's a blue moon, and it is also a lunar eclipse. So we are coming into our next eclipse season. That full moon is in the sign of Leo, and as I emphasized earlier, Leo connects with creativity, connects with divinity. And one element I would like to close and emphasize with is that as the moon is in the sign of Leo and the sun is in the sign of Aquarius. When we allow ourselves to recognize from a place of love and a place of grace and a place of humility the element of creativity and divinity that is inside of us, by doing so we become very humanitarian, and we engage in very humanitarian demonstrations of love, which the opposite sign of Leo is in Aquarius, and that is where the sun is placed at this significant full moon lunar eclipse. Once again, this is another auspicious opportunity for us to recognize how we are all fitting into the bigger picture in the all of humanity, and how every one of us have been and are continuing to be given opportunities to really recognize how we are all very much instrumental in raising the vibration of the consciousness of humanity. So once again, I thank you for offering me this opportunity to share with you some of the insights of some of the alignments that take place in January. Remember, in any moment of any given day, there are sometimes thousands of factors and thousands of alignments we highlight. I choose to highlight the ones that I feel are the most significant to share with you my understanding of all of this from a place of love, so that you might be inspired to further yourselves along on your path. We're at the end of December right now. So if you're observing this video before the new year, please enjoy a very safe and blessed New Year's. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Let's truly recognize how we very much fit into the bigger picture in all of this, and how we are always given opportunities to play our part, and to do so from a place of love. Stay in the light, stay in the place of love. I will see you all very, very soon. Namaste.